There's a number that Pennsylvania's Department of Environmental Protection has known about for decades, and it should be on every homeowner's refrigerator. That number is 4.0, measured in picocuries per liter of air. Below it, your risk is considered manageable. Above it, the EPA says you need to act. And in one geological corridor cutting across the top of this state, more than half of tested homes clear that line. We're not talking about industrial sites or contaminated land. We're talking about ordinary split levels and colonials built on top of some of the oldest, most uranium-rich rock formations on the planet. This is the Reading Prong, and this video is about why it makes Northeastern Pennsylvania unlike anywhere else in the country when it comes to radon exposure. If you looked at a geologic map of the Northeastern United States, you'd see something unusual, a thick band of dark-colored metamorphic rock arcs from Reading, Pennsylvania, northeast through the Lehigh Valley, through Berks and Northampton counties, and eventually into New Jersey and Connecticut. Geologists call it the Reading Prong. It formed roughly 1.1 billion years ago during the Grenville orogeny, a collision event so violent it built mountains that may have rivaled the Himalayas. Those mountains are long gone, eroded over hundreds of millions of years, but what's left is a sequence of gneisses, schists, and granites with unusually high concentrations of uranium-238. In many Lehigh Valley and Northampton County homes, bedrock sits just a few feet below the basement slab. The decay chain operates continuously, 24 hours a day, and the only question is whether your home's construction is giving that gas a path inside. Pennsylvania didn't discover its radon problem in a lab. It discovered it in a man's clothes. In December 1984, a construction worker named Stanley Watras was setting off the radiation alarms at the Limerick generating station in Montgomery County, a nuclear plant that hadn't even been fueled yet. The radiation was coming from his house in Colebrookdale Township, sitting on Reading Prong geology. His basement measured 2,700 picocuries per liter. The EPA action level is 4.0. That incident triggered the first major federal radon survey and eventually led to PADEP establishing the Bureau of Radiation Protection's Radon Division, the regulatory body that today maintains the list of DEP-certified mitigation contractors. The statewide data collected since then is unambiguous. Pennsylvania consistently ranks in the top 3 states for radon exposure nationally. But within Pennsylvania, the variation is extreme. Northampton County, hitting squarely on the prong, has average indoor radon levels that dwarf counties just 50 miles south on different geology. Allentown, Bethlehem, Easton, Reading. The prong runs directly beneath these cities' oldest residential neighborhoods. Here's the part that surprises most people. The radon in your home didn't come through the walls. It came through pressure. Your house, especially in winter, operates at a slightly lower air pressure than the soil beneath it. Warm air rises, exits through the top of the structure, and that negative pressure pulls soil gases, including radon, upward through any available gap. Those gaps exist in every house ever built. Cracks in poured concrete slabs, the joint where the wall meets the floor, penetrations for pipes and wires, hollow block foundation walls, which are essentially open conduits, a 1960s ranch in Allentown with a block foundation and no vapor barrier is drawing radon continuously. The rate of entry depends on 3 variables: the radon concentration in the underlying soil, the permeability of the soil and rock, and the pressure differential between indoors and outdoors. Reading Prong soils score high on the first 2. Older construction often amplifies the third. The solution to a Reading Prong radon problem is not a filter, not a plant, and not an air purifier. It is a precisely engineered pressure reversal. DEP-certified contractors install what's called an active sub-slab depressurization system, a pipe penetrating the slab, connected to a fan that runs continuously, creating a zone of negative pressure beneath the floor that's lower than the pressure inside the house. Instead of soil gas being pulled into the home, it's pulled into the pipe and exhausted above the roof line. The industry standards fan for Pennsylvania residential applications, the RadonAway RP145, moves approximately 33 cubic feet per minute at low static pressure and is rated for continuous operation in Pennsylvania's freeze-thaw climate. Post-mitigation testing typically shows reductions of 80 to 99%. A home testing at 12 picocuries per liter before mitigation commonly tests below 2.0 picocuries per liter afterward. DEP requires that contractors who install these systems hold an active certification under PA Code Title 25, Chapter 240, the Radon Certification Act. Verification of that certification is the non-negotiable first step in hiring anyone for this work. If your home sits in Northampton, Lehigh, or Berks County, or in the Reading Prong corridor through Bucks, Montgomery, or Eastern Chester County, you're not asking whether your neighborhood has elevated radon risk. The geology has already answered that. The only open question is what's happening in your specific structure. A short-term charcoal canister tests costs between $10 and $30 and takes 48 hours. A long-term alpha track test provides a more accurate annual average and costs under $50. Test your home. If it's above 4.0, the fix is well understood, the cost is defined, and the contractors are available. There is no part of this problem that requires waiting